Welcome back to the Dragon Den. My loyal Dragonites, King of Dragons 5000 is back with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the NECA Elvira Mistress of the Dark. And so here we have Elvira posed and out of the packaging, and is she very gorgeous. Before we have a look at the figure, let's run through her accessories. The Mistress of the Dark does come with two very beautiful head sculpts. She does include a dagger, a chalice, and a skull with some wax candles on it. Other than that, Elvira does not come with any other accessories, so with that out of the way, let's move on to her details. Taking a look at Elvira, the NECA team has done a really good job capturing the likeness of Elvira and bringing her into action figure form. They did a really good job capturing the sensual feel of Elvira, and it works perfectly here for her figure. Taking a look at her head sculpt, this is a very beautiful sculpt by NECA. The sculpt work is top notch, reflecting a very good likeness to Elvira, and the paint job just helps with that a bunch. Those beautiful blue eyes, the beauty mark underneath her right eye, the makeup as well as her lipstick do a really good job bringing everything together for Elvira. Add to it, the iconic beehive hair looks fantastic here on this figure. One thing I gotta praise NECA for is giving Elvira actual clothing here on her figure. She has a very busty buck here, which is pretty accurate to the actual character, and I love the fabric used for her dress. The V-cut is very deep and it does accentuate her bust line, and that is pretty accurate to how Elvira looked most of the time. The sleeves are also nicely done, where they do a really good job covering her arms. At the ends of her sleeves they are tattered and cut, which looks very good here. An added detail is that she is wearing a bracelet on each wrist, and I like the fact she is wearing her ring on her right hand. She's also wearing a faux leather belt, which looks fantastic, and it is held together by Velcro. And in the front there is a little loop that you can actually sheath her dagger into. The stitch work on her dress is fantastic, and I love the fact that they were able to implement the slit on her dress as well. It does a good job covering up her left leg and exposing her right leg, which is a very beautiful feature. One thing I gotta praise NECA on is the paint job on her legs. They were able to replicate it like she was wearing actual stockings. Although if you bend her knees it does ruin the illusion, but it is still a nice effort. And finally, Elvira is wearing black heeled shoes, which look fantastic, and the sculpt work on them is pretty clean. I like the fact there is some molded detail in her heels, but that does make it a little bit hard for her to stand. But the paint job is very clean, and it continues that stocking look on her feet. So overall, this is a very beautiful figure, and NECA has done a really good job capturing the look of Elvira here. Her chest size is very good, and I like the body that they went with for underneath her dress. With her details out of the way, let's actually get her compared to our usual suspects. Here we have the Mistress of the Dark posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Mattel's WWE Elite Series and Mezco's 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. The Lightning Collection White Ranger, and the Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. So unfortunately, Elvira here is scaled in the 8-inch figure scale, which she will tower over most of your collection. She is rather tall in action figure form and doesn't really fit in even with 7-inch scale. With her comparisons out of the way, let's move on to Elvira's articulation. Elvira has a double ball joint in the head. Arms go out to the side and would do a full 360. She has bicep swivel and double bend in her elbows. Hinge and swivel at her wrist. She has a ball joint in her upper torso. Her legs kick forward, go back, out to the side, and have a thigh swivel. She has a single bend in her knee, hinge in her ankle, and forward facing pin for rocker ankle. So overall, Elvira has some surprising articulation, despite the fact she looks like she's not really going to have much. And the fact that she is wearing fabric does mean that the articulation isn't hindered at all. So with everything said and done about the Mistress of the Dark, let's get her posed for my final thoughts. The NECA Elvira Mistress of the Dark is a love letter to Elvira herself. The NECA team has done a really good job capturing everything you love about Elvira and finally bringing her into action figure form. The fact they were able to work with Elvira to get this figure does mean everything on her is pretty accurate to the actual character. The face sculpts on Elvira are very beautiful, and I especially love the winking head that was included with this figure. She is rather light on accessories with no interchangeable hands, which is a little bit disappointing. Add to it, this figure is in the 8-inch scale, which is pretty awkward seeing as how most other toy lines are either 6-inch or 7-inch. That's not to say Elvira isn't a great figure to own, especially if you're a fan of Elvira herself. The fact they were able to get some of her key features accurate is another selling point for this figure. And with more Elvira figures down the line, I really hope that NECA does get around to releasing an Ultimate Collector's Elvira. If you grew up watching Elvira and you're a big fan of hers, you're definitely going to want to have this figure in your collection. With that being said, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, and check out all my other NECA videos. Check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, videos, recent pickups, latest prints, and as always, ring that bell so you never miss another video. And until next time, my fellow Dragonites coming from the Dragon Den, I'm KingofDragons 5000 reminding you to redesign, rebuild, and reclaim. I'll see you next time.